Hi, everybody. Today we're going to read a book called Chrysanthemum by Kevin Henkes. And we read one of his stories before, Sheila Wright Brave. In this story, Chrysanthemum's the main character, and she goes to school for the very first time. And we're going to read this story to find out what happens when Chrysanthemum goes to school and meet friends for the first time. Let's enjoy. Chrysanthemum. The day after she was born was the happiest day in her parents' life. She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect. Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew. She was old enough to appreciate when she was old enough to appreciate it. Chrysanthemum loved her name. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up, and she loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written in ink on an envelope. And she loved the way it looked when it was written in icing on her birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself in a fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Wow, it seems like Chrysanthemum really is proud of her name. She really likes it. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. And then she started school. On the first day of school, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile. She ran all the way. Hooray, said Chrysanthemum. School! Wow, it seems like she's excited to go to school. But when Mrs. Chud took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. Mrs. Chud, Don, Eve, Louis, Al, Les, Kay, Max, Sue, Bill, Pat, Tom, Sam, Ken, Joe, Rita, Victoria, Chrysanthemum. It's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on your name tag, said Rita, pointing it out. I am named after my grandmother, said Victoria, and you are named after a flower. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chud that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. That's exactly as half as many as there are in the entire alphabet, Victoria explained. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chud. Now put your head down. If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, Victoria said as the students lined up to go home. I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Wow, now she feels really sad about her name. Before she was proud, but now she's sad because the children are making fun of her. Poor Chrysanthemum. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School's no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag, and I am named after a flower. Oh, poof, said her mother. Your name is beautiful and precious and priceless and fascinating and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. Absolutely perfect, said her father. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup, and an evening filled with hugs and parcheesi. Parcheesi is the game that you could play. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane, and it was an extremely pleasant dream. The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. She walked to school slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, 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 she wrote. She even looks like a flower, said Victoria as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, said Rita, pointing. Let's smell her, said Joe. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, a chrysanthemum is a flower and it lives in the garden with worms and other dirty things. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chudd. Now put your head down. I just can't believe your name, Victoria said as the other students lined up to go home. Neither can I, said Chrysanthemum miserably. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School's no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. They said I even look like a flower, and they pretended to pick me and smell me. Oh, psh, said her mother. They're just jealous and envious and begrudging and discontented and jaundiced, said her father. Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours, said her mother. After all, it's absolutely perfect, said her father. Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better after her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting. Another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that she really was a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals, and Victoria had picked and plucked the leaves and petals one by one until there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. That was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. That's such a sad nightmare. Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets in the morning. She loaded the pockets filled with her most prized possession and her good luck charms. Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. She stopped and she stared at every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 the flowers seemed to say. Chrysanthemum's a daisy, chrysanthemum's a daisy, Joe, Rita, and Victoria chanted, thinking it was wildly funny. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. What's so humorous? Asked Miss Twinkle. Chrysanthemum was the answer. Her name's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on her name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria, and she's named after a flower. My name's long, said Miss Twinkle. It is, said Joe. My name would scarcely fit on a name tag, said Miss Twinkle. It would, said Rita. And, Miss Twinkle said, I'm named after a flower, too. You are, said Victoria. Yes, said Miss Twinkle. My name is Delphinium, Delphinium Twinkle. And if my baby is a girl, I'm considering Chrysanthemum as a name. I think it's absolutely perfect. Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed, she beamed, she bloomed. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longingly. Call me Marigold, said Joe. I'm Carnation, said Rita, pointing. And my name's Lily of the Valley, said Victoria. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. Overall, the class musical was a huge success. Chrysanthemum was absolutely perfect as a daisy. Victoria only made one mistake. She completely forgot her lines as the dainty fairy queen. Chrysanthemum thought it was wildly funny, and she giggled throughout the entire dance of the flowers. Eventually, Miss Twinkle gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and of course she named her Chrysanthemum. The end. Wow, it seemed like after all, Chrysanthemum really was proud of her name, and that's what made her special in her own way. I hope you enjoyed the story. Bye.